Someone's like, why haven't you birthed yet? Good morning, everyone, from my lovely home here in rural China. I'm in my side yard. Check out my cute little bamboo grove here. So today I'm going to be answering some of your questions about what it is like to live in rural China and just to live in China in general, because I have been living here for 5 years. Most of that time was spent living in the city, and I've been living in rural China ever since last year. So let's start from question number 1, which is a very commonly asked question. Do you get reliable internet access? Followed up by another very common question, can you still buy stuff online and have it delivered quickly? Actually, when I was living in the city, I hardly ever used Taobao. I would buy absolutely everything in an in-person store, unless it was something you just could not find anywhere else, then I would buy it on Taobao. But now that I live out here, there is no store. Where are you gonna buy your stuff from? I mean, there is like a little shop right down the street, but it doesn't have very much. It's got eggs, some snacks, some basic soap type things, but anything beyond like the basic bare minimum, you've got to get it online. And fortunately, this place is actually very convenient to order items delivered to. Right outside the little shop I was just telling you about, there is a rack, and delivery trucks stop there 2 or 3 times a day and unload everything. And you may have noticed that this rack does not have anyone watching over it. There's no little machine where you scan the barcodes to show that you received your item. But despite that, I've never lost a package ever in all my time living here. It's just not really a problem around here. And stuff gets here pretty quickly. Most stuff I order comes here in like 2 to 3 days, unless it's coming from somewhere really far away. So yeah, this is very convenient. I can get pretty much anything I want from all over the country, and it just shows up right there 2 minutes away from my house. So it's very convenient. As for the internet situation, I have 5G here. I have 5G pretty much anywhere in this village and the surrounding area, except for some spots on the mountain. And then as for home internet, this house had been abandoned for quite a while before I moved in here. So this house came with zero internet infrastructure, but I had it put in, and I've had perfect internet ever since. I literally have no problems with internet here. Are there any city foods that you miss in the village? Yes, there are tons of them. Foods for days. And I'll talk more about this topic in upcoming videos, but just to briefly answer that stuff, thing that I miss more than anything is matcha. Like matcha frappuccinos, matcha lattes, matcha ice cream. And I know you can buy matcha powder online. Believe me, I've tried. Okay, I've tried to make all of these things myself, and it just never turns out right. It just doesn't turn out right. But I visit the city once or twice a week for work, so that's my chance to get my matcha ice cream, my matcha frappuccino, my matcha this, my matcha that. And just in general, I miss having so much delicious, cheap, nutritious, fast food right within my grasp in a close radius. Here, you really do have to cook most meals yourself. Here's another question I get a lot. Will you stay in rural China forever? Now that I have experienced life here, I can say that there really is no going back. I do not want to live in a city again. I love living in rural China. I love being so close to nature. I love the small community vibe. But whether I will stay in this village forever, I really don't know. That depends on my job situation, whoever I marry or have kids with, where they want to go, what they want to do. It depends on a lot of stuff. I can say though that in terms of my long-term life plan, I really can only envision myself living in a village. But exactly where that is, I don't know. Really, the main caveat of living in rural China is that if you're going to have kids here, you need to make sure that their education is accounted for, because not every single village has a good school system or a school system at all. So that's something that you need to take into account. But at least in Zhejiang, there are a lot of villages that do have good schools. Like, I would be totally okay with my kid going to school at Baijiang Elementary. I don't feel in any way that this school is inferior to schools in the city. If anything, it's better in a lot of ways, because the kids are out playing recess with these giant bamboo mountains in the background. I mean, how awesome is that? And they get to do all these cool handicrafts related to local culture, and they make these little thingies out of bamboo. It's super cool. I love the school here. I've been there a lot for different educational activities, and I would be so happy if my kid could go to a school like that. So there's definitely options out there. And this also brings me to the next topic about kids. Someone's like, why haven't you birthed yet? Well, I do want kids, contrary to popular belief. A lot of people in the comment section seem to assume that I don't. But I just don't want them too early. I do love traveling, I do love exploring, and I have a few more things on my checklist to do, like big adventures, big plans before I have kids. I mean, kids don't just come out of thin air, you know? You need a DNA provider, okay? So until I have like an ideal candidate in that position, I'm also not exactly in a rush to have kids right now. And now I'm going to answer another question that's on a similar topic related to family, kids, relationship type stuff, which is about my ex. A lot of people are asking, where he is, why he hasn't shown up in my videos. And you may possibly be like, what ex? What are you talking about? Because it has been a while. So a lot of people have followed me and they don't even know that I had a relationship with a guy who showed up in my videos a lot in like 2021, 2022. We were together for 5 years, which is a pretty substantial amount of time if you're in your 20s, I personally feel like. So he was in my videos a lot in the earlier days of this channel, but we're not together anymore. I really hope that y'all can move on because it has literally been a year and a half. And if you followed me because you liked him or you liked AMWF dynamic relationships and you want to unsubscribe, just do it. I won't judge you. I literally will not judge you. I totally understand. Just boop that unsubscribe button. I wouldn't attribute our separating to have anything to do with cultural differences. It was just like lifestyle differences, personality differences, stuff like that. And I would say over these 5 years, I have really come to appreciate international relationships. I just think they're such a beautiful thing. And I do not feel like because this relationship didn't work out that I don't want to ever date Chinese guys again or I have something against Chinese guys, because not all relationships work out and that is just part of life. That is just part of life. Okay, let's talk about mosquitoes. Are there many mosquitoes over yonder? Yes, there are mosquitoes here because there is nature here, and wherever there is nature, there are mosquitoes. I don't feel like the mosquito quantity is any worse than my parents' house in suburban Virginia. It's about the same, and I feel like the trade-off is very worthwhile in both of these situations. Like my parents live right next to a forest, they get a really nice view off their deck of a forest, and yes, there are mosquitoes. But like forest mosquitoes, I'll take the forest. And same with here. There are mosquitoes, but this bamboo, it's worth it, okay? It is worth it. But yeah, do everything you can to keep the mosquitoes out of your house for sure. So I have very good screens. I rarely ever see mosquitoes in the house. It's just like when you're outside at certain times in the summer, yes, there are mosquitoes. And just in general, there are a lot of bugs here because there really is a mountain right behind my house. So I got a custom screen made for the door and there's a little gap underneath it and bugs will come in through that. And if you don't like bugs, well, watch out. I get bugs in my house pretty often, but I think I can get along pretty well with bugs. It's not a big deal. And second question about power supply. I have not had any problem with power here at all. I've not had a single power outage or any concerns about that. Up next, someone asks, don't you feel like living in a village is boring? There are no nightclubs. What a bore. Well, my answer to that is it really depends on what you want out of your life and what you enjoy. Because we live in a very diverse world where people have different interests, and some people prefer to sit inside and play computer games and they could care less if there's a nightclub. Some people really enjoy that nightlife and they really want to have it and they feel a sense of longing when they don't. Some people really enjoy nature and I'm in that category, so I could care less if there's a nightclub or a bar here because I have the best possible entertainment I could ever ask for right there. I can go walking and hiking on this mountain every single day, and that is so much more important to me than nightclubs. Because I've been to like 3 nightclubs in my entire life. I don't drink, but on the other hand, when I was in the city, I did feel a sense of longing for nature. I really felt like my life was missing something. And when I came out here, I didn't feel that anymore. I do not feel like my life is missing anything right now. So it just comes down to what you like. I'm not bored here, but I can understand why some people would be. And this is the only nightlife we have. So if you want nightlife, definitely do not move here. The next question is asking, does our village offer any healthcare services? Are there like dentist office, clinics, whatever? We do have a clinic, but I've never been there because I've just never had any real need to go there or see it. So I can't tell you much about it aside from the fact that it is there. And if you have like a really big emergency, there is a hospital that's about a 45-minute drive away. It's on the west edge of Hangzhou, so I don't feel like that's unreasonably far. As for the dentist office, there is not one in our village, but there is one like 15 minutes away in the same town where I often go to the vegetable market. And I have been to that dentist office. I did my annual cleaning there and it was pretty inexpensive. Didn't even have to make an appointment and there was no line. But don't expect it to be like the fanciest thing ever, you know, it's pretty average, but yeah, it's there. And they have a funny poster on the wall, so bonus points for that. Up next, another question I get asked very often, which is, will your parents be visiting you soon in China? You've maybe noticed that after COVID restrictions went away, every foreign vlogger under the sun was bringing like their entire extended family to China. Why did I never bring my family? My parents don't want to come here. It's nothing against China specifically. They just hate international travel. Like they just hate planes, they hate airports, they hate visas, they hate every single aspect of it. And let me give you an example of how dramatic their hatred for international travel is, okay? My grandma's hometown is in northern Vermont. We visited every year. And when I was younger, we'd spend 2 weeks up there every summer. And every single time, I'd beg my mother to take me and my cousins to Montreal, which is a city that is in Canada but feels like Europe because of the French influence or something like that. And that's super exciting to a bunch of kids who've never been outside of the US. Every single summer, I would beg my mother, take us to Montreal, please. It's only like 2 hours away. It's right there. She didn't want to go to a visa-free country that you can drive to. Literally only one time were we ever able to convince her to take us, and then she never did it again because she thought it was a hassle. So that should show you how much my parents hate international traveling. They just do not want to come here. It's hard for my father to go anywhere because he's taking care of my grandfather. My mother could come, but she doesn't want to travel alone. So they've like kind of agreed to come April of next year, and they will take any excuse to not come. Trust me, any excuse. So we will see. Up until then, I'll just keep on visiting them every single year. We video chat or call on the phone once a week. We text a lot, send them a lot of pictures and videos and things. So it's not like we're cut off from each other or something, but I do wish they'd come visit because like there's so much cool stuff here to show them, but they just hate international traveling. So you might be wondering what rogue gene caused me to turn out like this when my family is like that. It's actually my mother's parents. My grandmother learned Spanish as a second language and spent many years of her life in Mexico and in South America. My grandfather worked in the medical field in countries all over the world, mostly in Pakistan and Bangladesh. So it came from them. And on the topic of traveling, someone is asking, where in China do I still really want to go that I have not gone to yet? North China, the whole thing, all of it. I have barely seen any of North China. If you've been following this channel for a while, you've maybe noticed that I have a ton of videos about South China, particularly Southeast China, because I did my master's degree in Jiangsu for 3 years, and then I moved to Zhejiang, and I've been working here for 2 years, and then in between that, I did a gap year, and I spent most of that in the Yunnan, Sichuan, Guangxi area, and that's Southwest China. So I've barely seen any of North China. I'm so curious about it. And if I had to narrow down one particular part of North China, that would be Ningxia. Because it's so obscure, I feel like barely anyone knows anything about it. I don't know anything about it. I just want to know what's out there. I'm so curious. I would love to do like a 10-day Ningxia bike tour. It is on my list of things to do. And on the topic of North China, that is actually where I am going for my Labor Day travels. I have a 5-day holiday, and you bet I'm going somewhere exciting for it. So stay tuned. I will be showing you guys a little bit of North China in that, and I really hope to have more North China next year. So that is all for today's question and answer video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and I will see you guys next time.